Good afternoon and evening, everyone. I am Umar Farouq, a graduate of architecture from Federal Polytechnic Bauchi, a construction worker and a project manager, as well as an intern of CPDI Africa, specializing in Jarawa architecture. Um, I named my resort YALAM. YALAM is the name of the courageous leader of the Jarawa people who ran away or migrated from Borno Chadic region to escape uh, political instability. The resort is a proposed cultural traditional center aimed to provide a peripheral idea of the cultural architecture of the Jarawa, as well as to provide an environment for visitors to interact with nature. The 15 elements I explore in my design. Jarawa people are a cluster of languages of the southern Bantoid family scattered around north central, eastern Nigeria, and southwest Cameroon. They include the Kantanawa, Urukunawa, Jaku, Bomborawa, Denshi, etc. Uh, Talking about the aesthetics and forms, I centered most of my ideas on the back, which is the traditional silo where we store our grains. This is the picture. We have circular mud buildings, pitched roofs, and conical shaped roofs, hand-drawn wall patterns. On our materials, we use mud dug up and treated earth and stone, timber, palm tree branches, thatch, climbers, and crafted iron doors. Our culture and lifestyle, Kangal, which means in Hausa Zauri for reception of guests, and cluster of interrelated forms working together as a unit. The Rumfa, which in our language is lean, for outdoor shade and fresh air, enough outdoor space, courtyards for socialization. I'll explain more on this. Process and costs. I want to use the culture of Gaya, which my community usually do. That's community work. Mud bricks and other natural sustainable materials are cheap and last ages if properly treated. Buildings are built by community skilled builders and assisted by the community or extended families. Spirituality and philosophy, actually, our houses are designed in such a way that the kangal, the zauri, is like the head, which protects the body. Love and unity is consolidated by the family coming together. You see how it works in the concept. Houses are designed to celebrate the occupation of the household, to show their pride. We have blacksmiths, we have farmers, we have herders, and so on. My president's studies, traditional. I visited the Jos National Museum, took a snap and studied some of the standing structures there. This number one is Rukuba compound. This number two is a typical Birom compound. Next year is a village, a Jarawa village of Takwar in Kanam LGO, Plateau State, which I picked this picture of the back. And here is the rumfa, the lin, the canopy that provides shades for occupants of the house. The next, I look at the community approach of maintaining the Great Jenne Mosque, of which it is something that we really missed. I grew up to see my people, working together, but unfortunately today, we are not like that anymore. Looking at the modern African designs, still at the Jos National Museum, I took some shots of the vintage art gallery, which, you can see the reddish hue or the reddish brown hue that shows the mud color. You can see the stoneworks and the sculpture, even though I'm not going to use sculpture in my design. Here as well, the Jos National Museum, an interior of a traditional kitchen, a restaurant. I also took inspiration from the Boma Lodge, designed by Eric Chavoix architects in Eritrea. How buildings interact with nature. My next slide is on the conceptual processes. I derive my inspiration from a typical jar compound where you can see here is the canal, here is the Zorin Tsakia that connects the other room to the other part of the house. I went ahead to bring the Arewa logo, which show our geographical and political relevance, and the structure of an atom to show our unity in diversity. I fused them together to develop my plan and the result. On the right-hand side here, I have some images which inspired most of the concepts I use in elevation. One is the back, which is round in shape, with a touch on top. But actually, I tried to get an image of this back in a way I would love it to show without this touch. Actually, the top of this, is built in a pottery, manner. A small door is opened at the top where you fit in your grains inside, cover this opening, and close the one if it is filled to brim. Then you place this starch on top. When you need the grains, you open from here and be removing it small, small. This is the gong, which I heard that I don't know much about it, but this is what we use to communicate, especially intercommunity communication. Then these are the famous Jara cultural dancers, and this is what I mentioned earlier, the rumfa. The back serves as the nucleus of my design, of which the electrons, which are the other functions, revolves around. The back shows our strength in agriculture. My mood board, I have a collection of materials here. You see bamboo, you see timber, kauri, bricks, mud bricks, aluminum, thatch stones, hide, even the cultural dancers. I use each and every one of these elements on my design. Going to the floor plan, you can see the Ariwa logo. This is the kangal, which serves as the reception. I have the admin, the offices, this side, and shops, gift shops for the visitors, this side. When you move in, I want the visitor to have full feeling of my culture. So I placed the museum and gallery at the center, where you go in and look at our arts and artifacts in display. To the right-hand side is the kitchen. I have an indoor kitchen and an outdoor kitchen. This is an event center where ceremonies, performances can hold. And I have the guests area where my visitors will be accommodated. Here, I introduced a swimming pool where the visitors can hang out, enjoy themselves. And by this side, I have a similar feature, but it is just an open area with an open fireplace at the center, where in the night, I grew up to know that we meet around that open fireplace to listen to our moonlight tales by our elders. I believe this place can serve this purpose and as well serve as an open performance area where dances and other cultural activities can hold. To my 3Ds, You can see the elevation, the facade of the canal. I have a wing here. These wings are a depiction of the gong, that metal we hit to communicate with people. But I inverted it, trying to say that my resort wants to amplify the voice of the Jarawa people. For whoever comes here will listen to the sound of our beautiful culture and heritage. This is the concept of the back, of which is the museum. It opened at the top, and this is the opening, where I borrowed the concept of the great Demas Mwoko to allow elements into the building, lights and water, that can support life at the center here. The museum goes up to a higher floor, so I have a ramp, a gentle ramp that one can climb up, round, and to the other floor to have the full experience of what the gallery is to offer. I try to put some touch of sustainability in my design, of which I use natural materials, timber, bamboo, and the climbers, vines around. You feel the shade and have feeling of direct contact with nature. More of the renderings. This is the guest suites. The concept of the guest suite is actually the concept of the drum of the famous Jarawa cultural dancers. And it has a courtyard of its own where the visitors can come and have the feel of a fresh air and open fire spaces. If they like, they can come in, enjoy themselves in the night. More of the outdoor space. You can see the touch of sustainability. This is the open restaurant, the outdoor restaurant, kitchen. These are some views of the event center, the guest suites, the center of the design, and the canal, the head. Same thing here, the outdoor kitchen, and the swimming pool here. Finally, it has always been instincts deep down my soul that tell me the logic and science of architecture we learn in school are far from the truth we inherited. My subconscious mind knew I surrendered to ideas alien to my identity in a manner belittled the beauty and awareness of my cultural edifice. CPDI Africa has just woke me up to the realization of what I missed all along, which is being my true self. Proudly mentored by the most distinguished Afrocentric architects in the world, in a 10-week journey of self-remodeling in company of the brightest group of interns determined to change the narrative of Africa's lost glory by defining a language of architecture we can call our own. Profound thank you to the founder, Madli Okumabwa, and all our professors. I also want to acknowledge architect Aaron Shamfe Matthew and architect Hayes Nathaniel Yemi for the contributions in design, development, and rendering. This is Umar Farouq presenting Platujar architecture, a tribe of northern Nigeria. Thank you very much.